Hey, my name's Andy Reid, and this is the Alchemicast right here in Alchemical Records, where we focus on musicians in the DMV and give them a chance to spotlight what they've been working on and what they got in the months to come. With me on today's show, I have Aristotle, a hip hop artist from Maryland, who's come here to talk about Prosperity Entertainment, his company. He's worked with many artists, has done many collaborations, and is a solo artist in his own right. We're going to discuss his history and the future of his story as a CEO and a solo artist, and the changes in the local hip hop scene from when he first became a fan to when he started releasing his own music. Please welcome to the show, Aristotle. Aristotle, you're live on the Alchemicast. How's it going, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
All right. Thanks for being willing to do this. Really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is my first time doing something like this. May not look like it, cool guy, but I'm excited.
Well, so far you're a natural. How's it going? You want to tell us just a little bit about what you've been working on?
Things is going how they going. I got music. I always got music coming. So we always working on music over here. I've got a solo project coming out June the 22nd. From the West Side with Love Too. I'm working on a project with my artist who just recently changed his name just for the FYI to E4L. So he's formerly known as E Willis, but he now goes by E4L. We got a collaboration project. We work Beat the Streets Volume 1. That's going to be the first Prosperity collab since 2019. So that's a pretty big deal for me. I like getting guys together, getting creative juices flowing. Just being dope, putting out dope music. He's got solo material. We don't have no name and date for that yet. And I don't have no date on the collaboration project, but it's not, it's coming soon.
No rush on that, right? However long it takes to work out all the kinks, you'll find it for sure. I mentioned it in your intro, talking a little bit about Prosperity Entertainment. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that and how you became a CEO at the age of 22?
Well, absolutely. So basically, to start, when I first got in this, and I was probably like 16, late 15, really, I just wanted to rap. I wanted my dream was to go strike me the biggest deal that I could strike, and I was, but you know how this game works. Everybody's not gonna have that. So I did sign a deal though, but it was for zero non-profit, $0. So and they ruined my project essentially. That's how I felt. It was I got the whole label experience, all the BS, all the foolishness, all of it. I got the experience and I said, okay, cool, that was nice. I'm in charge now because I got real talent. I think I got a real chance to do something. So I'm gonna bet on myself. And if anybody who's willing to ride behind me or believe what I'm doing, ride behind me, I can set that up too. So that's what I ended up doing. I just kept building the building blocks and beginning of 2017. And, some people took notice and that's how I formulated the team that I have. And, we still rocking and still trying to achieve them same goals that we set back then.
Could you maybe describe something about your mission statement or what you're trying to do as an owner of a company like this, a label?
Well, first and foremost, the goal is always to make sure the product is supposed to be. In my estimation, trying to sit in the studio and curate certain kinds of songs that you feel like, oh, this may get this kind of reaction, this may get that kind of reaction. I never really took that approach. Those guys, I feel like, have to wait until they get lucky. It's right place, right time all the time. You just a nice MC. At least that's how I felt when I grew up. You don't have to do nothing. You just be great, and everything else handles itself for the most part. And everybody that I have with me, I have faith that they can. That's the level that they can get at, and they can't see that unless they go put in the work and at least give it a shot themselves. And
Right.
it's great to see, and that's first and foremost. But the second thing is I want to make sure everybody getting some get back for their contributions. All of us, we try as much as we can to eat it take care of ourselves off of this passion that we have, which is music, and more specifically hip hop. It's super competitive and everything is very scarce. You got to go in a head up battle to go get every little nickel and dime that you can get in this game. So
Yeah.
if you can do that without selling your soul or going against your character, you the man. And I just want everybody that's with me to believe that, hey, we can do that. We don't have to go and do things that we don't necessarily believe in. We can still achieve what we want to achieve and stay true to ourselves, stay true to the game.
Right. So for other artists out there who are trying to enter the game as hip hop artists or rappers, do you have any words of advice for them based on your experience?
Yeah. Based on my experience, I mean, it's a lot of traps to fall into in this game, even before we even get to the technical stuff. It's just when I'm gonna just talk strictly music. There's a lot of traps you can fall into, trying to sound like somebody else, literally stealing flows, literally stealing style. Hey, I understand that's what all the big names do, but the difference is that we know about it.
Hmm.
So, you know, we know about it. It may not seem like their brain has taken a hit, but in hip hop, maybe in that other genres, though, don't get me wrong. But in this game, your pen, you supposed to live and die by your pen. I see that has changed now, but it's about what do you bring. You have to own what you're bringing, and that's going to stick with you for the rest of your career. That you were the originator, you're the brand owner of what you have. Or if you got something from somebody, pay homage to that person. That ain't no thing. You know, people do it all the time, and those records is dope. They paying homage to the people that gave them their sound, gave them their style that they were truly inspired by. Pay some homage to them people, you know, so they don't feel like that you being just stealing. And that's huge, especially here in this area. Like it's way too much of that going on. I ain't going to get all the way into that, but guys need to have more faith in their own abilities. And if
Right.
you don't, hey, get up with people that's going to help you get into that position.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to invest in yourself and find others that invest in themselves the same way that you do. And when you find people that have that hustle and ability to collaborate and find a goal, that's awesome. So, as a musician from the DMV, and you're from Maryland, right?
Yes, sir. I'm from PG County, Maryland. Yeah.
Nice. What does it mean to you to be a musician from the DMV? I've asked other artists and bands on this show that question, and usually I get a different sort of answer, but I'm very curious to see what you have to say.
You know, it means it's a major responsibility more than anything else. And when I say that, I break it down to you like there's the timeline of our impact in the hip hop world is very short. It didn't start to like really 2005, which is
Hmm.
that was short compared to all the rest of the major areas, the hotbeds that got all the talent. Because this is if you from here for real, this is go-go world. And it was go-go world until that that year. That's what ran everything, Only folks from out of town was coming and booking shows to do hip hop shows here in this area. It wasn't none of our own rappers booking no big venues. Go-go bands had all the big venues. But government done jacked all that up. That's a whole nother episode for another day.
That's another story. I actually I was in a go-go band as a drummer for a very small period of time. And we were playing at this club in like nowhere, Maryland, and it was a place I had never been before. But I started talking to someone about the influence of go-go in DC and how it just spread, and that it was like this very impactful moment in music history that just started growing, and people are influenced by go-go all the time, even though we don't necessarily know what it is or a specific artist to reference. Um, in your own words, how would you describe go-go music coming from Maryland?
I mean, for me personally, it's like okay. So I think every if you come from a place that has real Black culture specifically, if you go to like New Orleans or some other places where they have other other sounds of music that's not hip hop,
Yeah.
or Jersey, they got that house music out in Jersey and Baltimore. They like listening to that where it's just a lot of skit scat techno sounding beats. That's not hip hop, but that's their culture in that area. So it's all they sound the same sort of, but they all have their keen differences that define, well, where did that come from? So here is the bounce beat. It is all this is the home of the bounce beat. I mean, it's DC, but here in the DMV area, yeah, the bounce beat, it just changed the whole horoscope of the game and go-go. And then more hip hop songs started to be hit records in the go-go world because they remix a lot of the hip hop records. And at first they wasn't doing that. It's just straight originals. Slim get on the drums, go hand him a electric something, go hand him something, and go get the lead singer. And yeah, y'all lit. You can go do what you want to do. But the bounce beat and hip hop being more popular in terms of what the audience wanted to hear from go-go bands, like that's what it is here. And that's how we got to where we are in the hip hop scene, to be honest with
you. Yeah, you've attained a certain level of status as an artist from the DMV, and I'm sure you've worked with a number of artists at this point. Do you have any influences or inspirations that you'd like to tell us about, whether they come from the DMV or if they've influenced you over the years?
Well, I'm gonna go out of the DMV first because that's gonna be a little easier to describe.
Yeah,
I mean, my favorite rappers is Ti. So that's definitely an influence. Gucci, direct influence. Lil Wayne,
sure.
or so it's and Joel Santana really. So like I listen to a lot of hip hop, but those four guys, 50 Cent. Can't forget about that.
Yeah,
So really, those was like, I they all had a part in playing how I, make my music on a local level. I mean, I say Fat Trill, just the way the man used to work and just how consistent he was. He was free. Even the music he puts out from jail, it's just like, Jesus.
hmm.
I just that's where I'm like, okay, I want to be like that. Where it's just every single time you see me, you just like he did it again. Rest in peace, God bless the dead. Swipey, he was probably the best lyricist that I had heard from my era of rappers in the area of all time. I think he's in top three, and it's not even close. And that just inspired me to step up my bars, even though I was spitting at that time. Like, you got to come harder than that, because this dude is on a whole nother planet with it, and it ain't even close. So, and they stole that one from us, and that still kills me. God bless the dead. Rest in peace, Derek Swipe.
Hmm. As a rapper with a name like Aristotle, would you say that some of your lyrical content features some philosophical concepts, or how did you arrive at the name Aristotle?
So all of that kind of, so it does. My music does. It really does sound like that, and it wasn't done on purpose, though, right? It's funny how things fall in line, and like you feel
Yeah.
like you're meant to do something because certain things will happen, and you didn't line it up that way. I had actually, this is the first time I've ever gone on record and said this. So yeah, just be about to get blessed. I was listening to a Plies mixtape. If you cannot consider yourself a hip hop OG if you was not on that. So I was on that piff religiously, listening to the mixtape. It was called Aristotle. May or may not remember. 2011, actually. There was two songs on there that stuck with me so much during that time period in my life. Like I couldn't stop messing everything up. Everything that I touched was getting destroyed. Now I had no sense of direction whatsoever. Nothing was working. Now all I really had time to do was listen to music. And there's two songs on there that really just kept me going and put me in a mind frame that I needed to be in order to turn things around. So I had never had music actually make real results in my life like that, ever. So that made me say, you know what? Well, let me go and Google. I don't even know who Aristotle is at the time. So I went and Googled it. I'm like, okay, it's a philosopher. Okay, that's impressive. Applies. a year later, I ended up doing a project on him. So like, just because I still wasn't familiar. So I had a rap name. I was just messing around in my neighborhood around my way. I had a rap name. Me and my best friend at the time, we were doing freestyles outside around my way, and I was going by my name and some people that called me on still my neighborhood Killer Cam, and I felt like that was tacky though because it wasn't really sticking. So I ended up changing it, but I'm like, what am I gonna change it to? Well, no matter what, I've never tried to deviate from me being intelligent. I never tried to like dumb it down necessarily. Like I feel like I don't need to do that. I think I got
Yeah.
so much vocabulary that I can just find another way to communicate. So it's like that makes sense, man. And then look at how he died though. Like they poisoned his wine. They tried so many times to kill him because he was saying certain things. I came to realize everything he said didn't make sense, but certain things he was saying was really enlightening the public. Government wasn't having. And they ultimately had to poison his wine. That was the only way they could touch him. So I'm like, if he got words that powerful, I wouldn't be that impactful as MC. I want my words and my bars. Now, hopefully, they don't try to poison, the rest. But hey, if they do, then y'all know it was that serious. It was that serious.
Well, him, Socrates, and Plato were some famous names from that generation or that era. And they all discussed some philosophical concepts that led us to where we are today. Other rappers like Mos Def or Black Star have focused on some philosophical concepts and really tried to elaborate on what it means to be a human, a man, larger concepts at large. For you, when you write a song, what does your process look like? Can you tell us a little bit about that and maybe a recent song or a recent release?
Oh man, it's the best thing that I can say is that content wise, is random. It what's on my mind at that moment. You know, it could be anything. Something may happen or somebody may have a conversation with me that causes me to remember something that I have never, it's still stuck in here. I never really spoke on it or I didn't make a song about it or nothing like that. And, I routinely go and listen to beats. This is what I do every day. So it's a situation where if it's something on my mind, I'm listening to my beats. I'm just going to go ahead and start jotting or if it's like a planned situation where I'm gonna be listening to a certain person's beats and I know they're known for a certain sound, and I'm already uh kind of aligning the content with the kind of sound that they make. See if we can make something work like that. With a recent release, the producer who did the lead single for the mixtape from the West Side with Love, that 2 that's coming out on June the 22nd. When I heard that song for Jodeci, I heard that beat. I didn't really know which direction I wanted to go with.
Mm.
But listening to it, it made me think about something that took place in my past, you know what I'm saying, while I, doing what I do or whatever. And it was essentially about, it was a betrayal situation, police cooperation situation. So I took that, ran with it, spoke on it a little bit, and boom, ended up being a single. Just because I just finished product with what it is, I just felt like that was suitable to describe uh an overall gist of what the project brings is like bits and pieces of that. And the songs, each content of the song and everything of the song is all going to be in like a ballpark for to make up for a project. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
basically.
Do you think that when you put a song together, you have a second voice or two people on your shoulders looking at your music and telling you to do one thing or the next? What is your producer mentality on your own music? How do you refine it?
No, I ain't gonna call it necessarily that, but there's a versatility factor. Absolutely, there's and that's for me personally. Like I can't stand one trick ponies.
Yeah.
I'm just so much of a fan. Like we always, me and my friends, people where I'm from, like we just constantly go back and forth about who is really that guy. Like what? So okay, so what are the credentials? We start asking. So we make our own credentials. We really break it down. So now that I'm not just a fan no more, I'm gunning for that every time.
Yeah.
And I ain't force it, but I know that I have the tools that I need to go ahead and be versatile. So wasn't always like, and that's another thing too. I wasn't always that person. So I knew that. And I'm like, okay, well, the songs still need to sound good. Like they can't just be different. And you can't say and be like, okay, well, this is different. So what, it don't sound good. Y'all gotta give me some time. No, this is it. This is what I'm saying. This is hip hop. You don't have time for none of that because you take your second to take your time. Your spot just got took. You
Yeah.
know, because Chris is crab in a bucket town around here. You ain't got time for none of that. Everybody's gunning for your spot, and they're gonna be doing it faster. The further you move up. So I just try to get in my bag of whatever it is that I can tap into, and that I can make sound good and make sure it's real. So I wasn't always using auto tune. I got into that
Yeah.
later on down the line. I wasn't always trying to figure out how to use other melodics, collab with R&B and make that merge. Using old school samples. That's not even just hip hop related.
Yeah.
You gonna get some of that. One from the West Side with love too. Like being versatile, bringing different things to the table. And the best thing that I love about that is when I will speak to two different people who have heard a song of mine, right? And one person has heard one kind of song and they think that that's what the whole, catalog is. Another person's heard a song that sounds completely different from that one. They think that the whole catalog is what they sound like. So once they go and check out the whole catalog, they're like, oh, he's the same. He's the person who made that and that.
Yeah.
I love it.
The damn factor. You're like, wow, I just opened up this whole library, this whole can of worms about one particular artist. I had to just check out their discography and see where they started from, and now they got here. So
Yeah.
some artists that I like that are kind of like that are like J. Cole or Drake. Um, I think of Outkast and like the Hotlanta sound and how they kind of started at something. So Andre and Big Boy, and then what they became, you know,
Yeah.
that evolution of artists, especially in the hip hop genre, is so important to recognize as we've gone from the 80s, the 90s to where we are now in music. In
Mm-hmm.
your own words, how would you describe the current status of the music industry? Are we in good standing as musicians? Should we be worried because of the COVID pandemic and how everything kind of shook out? Or do you think that we're using live streaming to our advantage and we're starting to take note and take advantage of what's going on?
Um, I think that for the most part, I think people have figured out how to use the live stream to the best of their advantage. I think in the beginning, everybody just felt like they were forced to
Yeah.
do live stream because of the pandemic, and nobody wanted to cease their operations. Not in a recreational place like hip hop. Everybody wanted to keep the show going. But there's two things with that. The first one being monetization, monetizing.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just now learning about all this monetizing that's going on with these visuals. And it's a situation where, if you can't, if you can get a guest, some guests you can get in person if you have a podcast or you got a platform or something like that. And some people, they just schedules a little too hectic or they might be too far or whatever. So this is perfect because this is still live, direct conversation, direct content. And me personally, I've watched some of the best pieces that have been like this in the past year. Whether it be sports, music, or just something else that's out of the ordinary, like very dope content has came out of this. It allows direct access to whoever is hosting and whoever they want to bring on, and they can still do everything they need to do. In most cases, those people probably feel a little more comfortable if they may not do as well. So I ain't gonna say no names, but I've seen some guys that have done much better on the live stream. They get to acting up. It was a little squirmish in person, but that's the way. I think everybody's figured out how to make it work, and they use it to their advantage. Getting to some of their money and still putting out great content.
Yeah, no, I see that too. and I think the future of music looks bright moving forward. Now, as we start to wrap our conversation up, I want to ask you one last question. Is there anything else you'd like to add? You have a lot going for you, and as a CEO of Prosperity Entertainment, you have 4 or more releases coming up. Is there anything else you'd like to add and tell our listeners?
Well, yeah, I guess to throw in From the West Side with Love too is coming June the 22nd on exclusively on Bandcamp. That's one of the more important projects. It's a special one because you will never hear me say, "Oh yeah, this project is important than others." So this one is special because uh just just working on it, and it was done almost by accident, really. So I wasn't even really sure if I was going to do a second one of those. The first one I did, it went crazy, but I just felt like it was too easy. That's literally what happened. I felt like it was too easy, and I wanted to challenge myself. And I felt like with my following projects, I challenged myself. But I'm like, well, how do I want to make an even bigger burst on the scene with the second one than I did with the first? So how do I do that? And then I got this pile of songs, and I just kind of I'm swapping them in and out, and so now I got a project that I'm like, okay, and I've got another one, you know. So that's how I feel. This one's special, putting on for the neighborhood, putting on for the area, because I don't really think it's really anybody that's from my city, I can keep Merlin, that's really putting on or like that, or hasn't had the opportunity. So the fact that I got any sort of opportunity is, yeah, I take that, you know, I take that like all the way. I want all the moments, I'm a former athlete, you know what I mean? Like I had to hang that up a little early, but I want all of that. I want the last shot. I want the first one. I want all of that. That's always been my mentality. And that's how I'm gonna keep doing it. I've always been a competitor, a fighter. I'm gonna maintain my place, especially if I know I belong. But I ain't never gonna disrespect the game though. I really do have love and respect, for the game. And I try to keep that consistent the whole time that I'm rapping, And shout out my guys, my artists that rolling with me, man, because they don't really gotta be doing that. I got some talented kids with me. They can go do whatever they want, but they believe in what I'm trying to do and what I've already accomplished. And I can't stress that enough. So big shout out to Rizzo, that's my artist. Shout out to E4L, who, like I said, recently changed his name. Be looking to see that on the front of some music soon. Shout out to White Boy, that's my artist, my older brother. Uh, he also inspired me like crazy. But before I even thought about rapping, just the fact that I knew he could rap and he could rap well, and that was my flesh and blood, is just like it was honor. So shout out to them. We got collaboration project Prosperity Entertainment between me and E4L, Feed the Streets Volume 1, and that's going to be coming probably in the fall. And we working on that, cooking that up right now. We got docu-series that's going to be coming up, Prosperity Entertainment docu-series. It's going to be coming up. I'm introducing everybody on camera. We're going to be doing some coverage, getting some background, see what they're working on.
Cool.
Catch them in the process and making things, and see how this big old hip hop factory that we got down here in Southern Prince George is kind of just want to give y'all some visuals and some insight just on how that works. Merchandise, Prosperity Entertainment merch coming at the end of this summer or this fall. I'm gonna put out a line for either one, as I've been working on that for a while. That's gonna be real big. I've always a dream of mine to have my company name on some product, man. And it's beautiful just to even have the opportunity to do that at this point, considering where I came from. So it's great. I plan on doing a studio album at the end of the year. Yeah, Daniel already got me written down and quoted on that one, so I might stick with it. Yeah, I can't be calling me out saying, "Yeah, I quoted you. You didn't do it." Nah, I'm gonna do it. This year, that's gonna be the play. So that's what we working on. That's what we planning on doing in the future. And if you want to catch any of that, catch me on the socials. All my socials is 301 Aristotle on all the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and all that good stuff. All my music and everybody that's with my company's music, their music is on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, Pandora, all that good stuff. And so we available, man. We available. We put out a lot of product. We got a lot of choices for you guys, man. If you got time and you trying to find something new to get on, especially if you're from there, hell yeah. Check us out. We might be able to provide you with something that you like.
Hell yeah. Well, Aristotle, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me once again, man. I had a great time. I appreciate it.
And to all our listeners at home, my name is Andy Reid, and this has been the Alchemicast right here on Alchemical Records. Aristotle, I'll check you another time. Hang out, man. I'll talk to you later.
Killer. I get that pack in and I put it on the road. You see, niggas ain't as cold as me. I'm begging work, no grocery. I'm begging hoes, no grocery. Little bitch don't get too close to me. Gave his ass a verdict, now he singing like he Jodeci. This 223 and this gon' sing just like it Jodeci. Rap niggas is hoes to me. This rap niggas ain't close to me. Gave his ass a verdict, now he singing like he Jodeci. This 223 and this gon' sing just like it Jodeci. Plenty gas, plenty lane coming in. We gon' make it flip. I done had some pussy niggas snitch, so I dug a ditch. 4-5 taking measurements, making sure they fit. Ever since then, I been hollering motherfucker friend. Cause these niggas in the street, selfish shit, they paper thin. I'ma play to win, I'ma make the plays. With on serving in the hallways, showing out on stage. You ain't like me, homes. You got pussy nigga ways. In the 10th grade, went and bought the whole thing. Pussy nigga fumbled the work. Told 12 the whole thing. It's a dirty fucking game, and I know that I'ma knock the price off his head like a rollback. Believe that, you know where you be at. Nigga, best believe that. Yeah. Look, I get that pack in and I put it on the road. You see, these niggas ain't as cold as me. I'm begging work, no grocery. Begging hoes, no grocery. Little bitch don't get too close to me. Gave his ass a verdict, now he singing like he Jodeci. This 223 and this gon' sing just like it Jodeci. These rap niggas is hoes to me. Rap niggas ain't close to me. It ain't over till I say it's over, nigga. I ain't gon' hold ya. I'm a this 4-5 and just watch that bitch fold ya. I been trapping since I'm older. Roller way before I rolled up. I'm a soldier. Niggas try to clone me, no need to expose them. Aristotle, I'm the one and only. Fourth quarter, feel like Kobe. Bitch, I'm a big game closer. You a snitch, nigga, game over. We was smoking marijuana on our neighborhood corner. Now I'm smoking in the stew. They think I got it. Song you in this pistol that I'm toting. Turn you to a organ donor. Smoking niggas, I'm a stoner. In a casket, quarantined his ass like he had corona. In his casket, quarantined his ass like he had corona. I get that pack in and I put it on the road. You see, these rap niggas ain't cold as me. I'm begging work, no grocery. I'm begging hoes, no grocery. The bitch don't get too close to me. Gave his ass a verdict, now he singing like he Jodeci. This 223 and this gon' sing just like he Jodeci. Rap niggas is hoes to me. These rap niggas ain't close to me. Gave his ass a verdict, now he singing like he Jodeci. This 223 and this gon' sing just like he Jodeci.